Hi, everybody. I wanted to talk today about anger and what it is and why it's so hard to access. Anger is the life force energy, it's the heat, it's the fire that fights for things. We have a really bad rep in our culture about what anger is. It's like a destroyer, it's a thing that cuts off relationships, it's the things that make ourselves unrecognizable. And though anger has those aspects to it, it's the same thing as equating sadness to depression. That, yes, there are shadow sides or toxic sides or extreme sides of every emotion. That's not the whole emotion. That is not the whole vast of what anger is. Anger is the energy that moves things, it's the energy that gets us from point A to point B. Underneath the umbrella of anger is also impassioned or frustration or declaring. Like, there's so many different layers under anger that is saying that I am fighting for something. It's a libido, it's a life force. It says I matter. I was talking to a client today who is struggling with her anger and changing the words of I'm mad to I matter, because that's really what it is. That statement of my boundaries have been crossed, and that matters enough to say something about it. That matters enough to bring it up. um, the feminine rage or anger that has been held and suppressed is not just yours. It is way, 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 way deep, deep, deep in history. And it's been silenced there. And what we're doing now is we're trying to reach back in history and start to dredge it up. So if you're somebody who has a hard time accessing your anger, you might feel that when you start tapping in, it might feel scary at first because it's actually pulsating on something much bigger than your own personal story. It is on waves of misconduct throughout history. It's on waves of suppression and rape and violence and all the ways that women have been hurt throughout history. So lots of times when our we're so afraid of anger because we're afraid of, like, there's a lot there. There's a whole pile of unprocessed, repressed shit. And what's so important is to access a container while you're starting to access your own anger. So that can be ecstatic dance, that can be kickboxing, that can be a partner who, an energetic partner who's there to do practices and exercises with you to feel your anger and have it be screamed, have it be processed through. Also, I want to just note with that, if the reason why it's so scary also is because the container yet hasn't been created. We've given anger such a bad rep that when somebody expresses anger out at us, we collapse. We shut down. We create walls. We don't know how to also hold others' anger. So it's really practicing on both sides. So it's not just the expressing anger and giving anger and learning how to do that and move with that gracefully. It's also learning how to hold anger, how to be there, how to stay present, because it affects one another. And think about it the same way with sadness. If somebody was expressing sadness and the other person was like, okay, too much, I don't know, it collapses the sadness. It makes the sadness disperse. It makes it almost like flaccid. It goes weak. It doesn't let it process itself through. Whereas if somebody was expressing sadness and the container showed up and said, yes, more. What else? What else? Ooh, the sadness would just be able to come through. So it's the same thing with anger. We want to be able to find containers that can hold it. And that could be a DJ and the music's just loud and it meets you there. But we're really trying to find things that don't run away or hide or become fearful when that anger shows. We want something that can meet it and also meet it just as passionately. So when the anger comes up of like, oh, I'm angry, it's not, wow, that, yeah, you're angry. It's, we want something like, yes, you're angry, more. Why? Tell us more, more. That sucks. Fuck them. That actually is the thing to match it that helps move it through. So if you are somebody who, and probably if you're watching this, anger is a feeling that we it's hard to access because we've never been given permission to access it, and also because it doesn't get met in its proper form. So this is a practice on both sides. And if you want to begin accessing it, find that container that can begin holding it. If there's not a person, then dance, then kickboxing, something to move the body. And also know that you're not alone in it, that this is something that's really big that's moving through our culture right now that is starting to get addressed. This unprocessed rage and how to move with it and to stop villainizing it, because we get scared that if I feel my anger, express my anger, I'll become someone I can't recognize or my relationships will end. But I promise, like, just like a good cry, just like a belly laugh, it moves through and it actually makes you more here. We just need to make sure that it's in the right containment that's going to not just hold it, but encourage it, support it, to move it all the way through. I hope that was helpful and wishing everybody a wonderful day. Bye.